It is 2025. I can't believe that we've already gone through 2024. I'm excited for this year, especially when it comes to real estate here on the Central Coast. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. We're going to be talking about what's happened, what's happening right now, and what we might see in the future regarding the real estate market here in SLO County. Our job, make you better informed as a buyer, seller, or investor, whether you're buying your first home, you're buying investment property, or you're selling your home. Whatever it is, our goal is to bring value to you. So we're going to be talking about housing updates as far as the days on market, price per square foot trends. We'll be talking about inventory levels, a little bit about interest rates, what I think they might be doing in the future, along with the highest price point, the lowest price point in the last 30 days, and kind of where each city here on the Central Coast is ending up as far as the median price, sale price. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. If you can, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated. It means a lot. Let's go ahead and get started. January 2025 real estate market update for the Central Coast of California. Let's go ahead and start with December, what we saw last month as far as transaction volume, and it's going to shed some insight as far as where the real estate market is here on the Central Coast. So first thing first, year over year, we've seen an increase. We've seen an increase of 29% when we compare 2023, which was $335 million closed transaction in December, versus $432 million in December here of 2024. Now 30%, that's a pretty big increase, but as you can see, the median price for a home hasn't really increased drastically. Now there has been some increase as far as number of units sold, but I'll tell you here in a minute why we've seen such a massive increase as far as the overall transaction volume. But there you have it. In the last month, we saw $430 million of real estate transacted here on the Central Coast. Now, like I mentioned, we did see an increase as far as the number of units sold. So in December, we saw 197, which is up 20% when we compare year over year. In 2023, for example, we had 164, and in 2022, we had 168. So 197, now that's not bad. Definitely an improvement than what we saw last year as far as activity level. December, January tends to be one of the slower months here for the real estate transactions overall. Generally speaking, we see springtime, which is March all the way through June or July. That's where the bulk of the sales happen. So we see those lower transaction counts in December and January. But like I said, we've seen an uptick in last year, or the last year versus the year previous, right? Now, what is a normal transaction volume or transaction count for December in more normal historic years? Well, prior to 2019, we were seeing anywhere from 250 all the way up to around 300, maybe even 350 homes transacted in the month of December. So we're still down off the historic number, but we're starting to tick up to a more normalized amount of activity for the month of December. So we saw an increase of 20% as far as the transaction count last month. However, we saw a 30% increase in transaction volume. Now, why is that? When we take a look here at the chart, the median, and we compare it to the average price sold here in the county, I think you'll see what's going on. So pulling up the chart here, December median sales price, $875,000. That's pretty flat when we compare it to last year of 2023. And that was $881,000. And that was up 10% from 2022, which was $799,000. Now, the median price, where we right there in the middle, right, is $875,000 for the county. So for the average, we see that it is $1,098,000. So there's a big difference between the average and the median, which indicates that we're seeing on the extremes kind of more of that extreme. So some really high price points have sold, some higher end luxury listings or ranches, and then we see lower price points as well. But overall, that median sales price is moving up, but it's really those high price points, luxury, ultra luxury listings and estates that have sold, which are really pushing up that transaction volume. Now, I anticipate over the next 5 to 10 years that San Luis Obispo County is going to look more and more like Santa Barbara and Montecito, and they're going to be ultra luxury, high-end homes and estates that are selling. It's going to be more and more commonplace. And I'll point out here in a minute the highest price point estate that sold in the last 30 days, and I think you're going to be quite surprised as far as the number for that one and what that one sold for. So that's what I have to say about that. We're seeing higher end, multi-million dollar estates and luxury homes being sold, and that's really pushing up that transaction volume, because that transaction count, the number of units sold, really hasn't drastically increased. I mean, it's increased, but not drastically. We saw a moderate climb year over year when we compare the average price or the median price per square foot. So we can see median price per square foot, $529, which is up just shy of 6% year over year. In 2023, it was $500, and in 2022, it was $479. Now for December, the pending sales actually have dropped off, which is interesting. And we're going to take a look here at just in a minute as far as the number of active listings. So the pending sales in December, 103. Now that's down 27% year over year when we compare to 2023, which was 142. But if we take a look at the December active listings, we see we're at 547, which is up 5% when you compare to year over year in 2023, which was 517. Now the historic number, to give you something to compare to, is around 950 all the way up to 1,100 historically here for the Central Coast. That's in December. We increased quite a bit, even more, up to sometimes 1,500 active listings in the busy spring months. But as you can see, we're moving up to a more normalized inventory level, and that's really going to be a key factor for a more healthy market here on the Central Coast, is that increase of inventory. Now, in my opinion, that increase of inventory is going to come if those interest rates drop a little bit. So we'll talk about that, give you my prediction as far as interest rates for 2025. Now, here's an interesting one to take a look at. So new listings for the month of December, new listings brought to the market, is at the lowest level it's been since we've been recording this data on the CRMLS InfoSparks, which is the program that I use, at 111. Now, if we take a look at that all the way back, on average, looking at maybe 150, 160, all the way up to 200, it's quite interesting that we're at the lowest number of new listings brought to the market. So we've talked a little bit about what has happened. Now let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now and how some of these numbers I'm going to share with you, days on market and inventory month supply, is going to give us kind of an idea of where we're headed in these upcoming months. So the days on market's an important one to look at, because as that ticks up, it's starting to show a leading indication that we may see some price reductions, right? So longer days on market, it's going to typically happen in December and January because they're slower months. So as buyers out there, you actually have a good opportunity of getting a good deal, because inventory, or when a home has a higher days on market, typically they're more open to concessions or a price reduction there. So great opportunities for buyers in December, January. But as we see here, the days on market has increased. 28 is the number for the median days on market, which is up 64% year over year. Last year in December, 17 was the median days on market. So quite a drastic increase. I think that days on market is going to tick back a little bit to a more normalized amount around 2025. But it's just something interesting to point out, that as we increase for those days on market, you're probably going to see some price reductions. There's not as strong of a demand. Houses are sitting on the market longer. So it's an important thing to keep in mind. If you are a seller, make sure to price well, because you don't want your house, your property sitting on the market past that 20, 30, 40 days. It really starts to not look so great to buyers out there. Now, with these increased days on market, you would anticipate that the month supply, which, as a reminder, month supply is if we took all of the available inventory right now and no new listings were brought to the market, how long would it take for the number of buyers that are out there, the number of transactions that are happening, for all of that inventory to be sold, basically. So typically in a normal metro area, you're looking between 4 and 5 months of an inventory level. Here on the Central Coast, because we're such a desirable area, so many people want to live here, we tend to be a bit lower, between 3.5. Right now, we are quite low because of the lack of inventory, as I mentioned before. And so we see right now with this chart an inventory month supply of 2.6. That's flat when we compare to 2023. However, we are up when we compare to 2022 at 2.2. So inventory still low, which is an indication that we might not see the kind of price reductions that we would expect to see with those median days on market increasing and those other factors. There's just no new listings, or very few new listings coming to the market. So as a seller, it's still a seller's market, and as a buyer, being mindful of that. It's not as much of a seller's market as it was in previous years. There are still some great deals out there, definitely, but you want to make sure that you're realistic as far as what's your price point and what you can get a house for. So some interesting leading indicators that can give us an insight as far as what might be happening in the coming months. All right, so this is one of my favorite parts of making these videos. We're going to be talking about the highest price point that sold the home that sold in the last 30 days, and the lowest price point along with right there in the median. So if you recall, the median $875,000 for the county. We'll go ahead and start with that. What can you buy? What is sold in the last 30 days that is a good representation of that median price point here for SLO County? Well, this is a great example on Fennel Lane number 801. $875,000. It was listed at $885,000. 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 1,879 square feet. And this was on the market for 11 days. Now this is in a great location, and it's quite new and move-in ready. Really has some high-end features there. I certainly would be proud if I called that home. So great example of what you can buy for the median price of $875,000, built in 2017, HOA fee $250. Now this one is a great example of the lowest price point in San Miguel, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square feet, 8707 Magdalena Drive, $412,000. This was on the market for 26 days, but as you can see there, you get quite a bit amount of space, definitely a fixer-upper, but there's a great amount of opportunity. If you're looking to purchase a property that has almost an acre worth of land, a single-family home, has room for equity growth, be a great potential and a great example of what you can purchase. The lowest price point there here on the Central Coast, and is another example that there's a price point for everyone. The highest price point home that sold here on the Central Coast is Exotic Garden Drive in Cambria. 12 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 32,000 square feet. It's been on the market for a while and listed for many, many years. Beautiful estate. $17 million it sold for, and as you can see, it's quite exquisite. Now, if you compare this to what it might sell for in Santa Barbara, I would not be surprised if it sold for double or triple the amount. Now, you may think $17 million, that's quite a lot, and it certainly is, but when you compare it to other areas here in California, for what you're getting to have something so close to the coast is quite amazing. Even has its own helicopter pad. Pretty amazing. $17 million here for the highest sale in San Luis Obispo County. So what are some of the experts saying as far as the overall trend for 2025 when we compare to 2024? Well, this is a great example. More home sales than in 2024. Pent-up demand from buyers and sellers on the sidelines may drive home transactions next year. People have waited long enough, Fairweather said. About 4 million homes are expected to be sold by the end of 2025, an annual increase between 2 and 9% from 2024, according to Redfin. The market is piling on with people who need to move on with their lives, like buyers who are getting new jobs, need houses for suitable life changes, and sellers who've delayed moving plans. So what do I think is going to happen this year for the Central Coast of California? Well, I think, like I mentioned, we're going to see some increase of inventory. We're going to see more active listings on the market. It's going to be a more normalized market. There's going to be more options for buyers out there than there were in the last few years. However, we're not going to see any major drastic price reductions from sellers just because inventory is so low. So we're moving from a really strong seller's market to a little bit more of a normalized market, kind of in between, more balanced as they might say. My recommendation still stays the same for buyers. Get pre-approved. Make sure that you're not making any major purchases. Make sure that you are clear on your criteria. And if you have a house to sell and you're looking to buy a replacement property, you really want to make sure that you get your sale house prepared and ready to go before you start looking for a replacement property. You're going to set yourself up for success that way. And if you're a seller, make sure that you go through the preparation process. Of course, you know, if you'd like to talk to my team, we can certainly sit down and discuss our approach for that. Make sure you're deep cleaning, make sure you're doing all of those things to get the top dollar for your house and make sure that you get a lot of great attention from buyers out there. Now, investors, I think this is going to be a great year to invest in rental properties. The rental market has continued to remain strong due to the high prices for purchasing. So we continue to see strong rental rates, and we continue to see strong rental market. It's relatively compressed. So if you're looking to invest in real estate, buy a duplex, quadplex, even 10 or 15 units, whatever it is, reach out. We'd be happy to provide you an off-market list of available income properties for you to take a look at. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we can certainly find something that would fit your criteria. So reach out, we'd be happy to help you. Again, buyers, sellers, investors, we are here to help. So reach out, sit down, interview my team, and we can go from there. Let me know what you think is going to be happening in 2025 when it comes to the real estate market here on the Central Coast. I'm really curious. Do you think prices are going to go up? Do you think they're going to go down? Do you think they're about to stay the same? What do you think is going to happen with the mortgage rates? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, please, please, please like and subscribe. That means so much. It really means a lot. And share this with somebody who's maybe looking to buy or sell this year. I want to give them some valuable information that they can use. Until next time, take care.